My parents sold my childhood to a twisted cult, so I took them all down, piece by piece. 20 years later, my mom's asking for another chance. I left her on the porch like she did to me. I was raised by two extremely devout parents in this small, super tight-knit Christian church. We spent every Sunday singing hymns and listening to sermons about love and generosity. Honestly, from the outside, we probably looked like the perfect church community. But if you were one of the kids growing up inside, you quickly learned there was one twisted rule that governed everything. Give your body and your love to Christ. Pastor Michael made sure we understood this from the moment we could walk. Every Sunday after service, while parents chatted over coffee, he would gather us children for special lessons about surrender. My older sister Sarah was his favorite example of true devotion. By the time she turned 15, she was spending entire weekends at the church for what Pastor called intensive discipleship. She would come home with dark circles under her eyes and a look that told me she'd just been through what no one ever should, but my parents would beam with pride. Sarah truly understands what it means to die to self, my mother would say while serving dinner. Sarah would just stare at her plate and nod slowly like she was somewhere else entirely. I tried so hard to earn the same approval without having to attend those private sessions. I memorized the entire New Testament by age 11 and fasted every Friday until I collapsed during gym class. When I brought 3 classmates to church, my father just patted my head and said I was doing good work, but also told me that until I did what Sarah did, Christ would never truly accept me. It was on my 8th birthday that the pastor announced I was ready for deeper sanctification. I didn't know what that meant, but I could guess. And based on the fact Sarah was sitting next to him during the announcement and kept rocking back and forth in her chair, I knew it wasn't good. After service, my parents sat me down with Sarah for a family meeting about my spiritual readiness. Find a way out, Sarah whispered to me, but the second our parents stepped into the kitchen, she changed her tune. But that's how you know God is working through Pastor. The discomfort is just your flesh resisting, she chirped up loudly, looking at our parents. My mother came in with cookies and milk like we were celebrating something wonderful. We dedicated you both to God before you were even born, she said. This is his plan unfolding. That same night, I was given to the pastor. My body hurt, I felt disgusting, I wanted to throw up, but my parents told me I was doing the right thing and that God was smiling at me. At first, I hated it every time. I cried every night before I had to give myself over to the pastor and had ideations I'd rather not say here. But then over time, things changed. I became numb. I no longer cared about being given to the pastors. Thank you, pastor. And I feel God's presence became automatic responses when he was done with me. During youth group testimonies, I started sharing how blessed the sessions made me feel. I became fully indoctrinated until the night my older sister slapped me silly. She caught me praying on my own and approached me and just laid into me. She grabbed my shoulders and shook me. She told me this was what they wanted, for me to break, for me to give up and accept. That was when I realized I couldn't keep doing this. I had to find a way out. So I started documenting everything in a journal, hoping one day it would come in useful. I still had to give my body, pray, fast, but it was different now. My mind was no longer chained thanks to Sarah. My opportunity to use my documented journal came eventually. I was 16 and got a scholarship to a community college. I was overjoyed and told my parents. And they, thinking I was a sweet devout member of their church, let me enroll. I endured another 2 years, which thankfully no longer included giving myself to the pastor. I was too old by this point. But when I was 18, I went to college, and that's where I met other Christians. They taught me that God never asks children to surrender their bodies to grown men. The campus ministry leader Marcus and his wife showed me what healthy spiritual guidance looked like. No locked doors or special touching or secrets that made you feel sick. I came home junior year with Marcus and his wife to confront my parents. I brought Bible verses about protecting children and explained how real churches have windows in the doors and multiple adults present. My mother's face went from confused to furious in seconds. She slapped me hard across the face. How dare you question God's anointed, she screamed. My father was already on the phone, and within minutes Pastor Michael arrived with 2 deacons. He took one look at me and declared I had a spirit of rebellion that needed to be cast out immediately. My parents grabbed my arms while Pastor pressed his hands on my head. Let Pastor help you like he helped me, my mom pleaded while holding down my legs. When I kept resisting, Pastor's hands moved to my throat, squeezing just enough to make breathing difficult. Marcus pulled me away from them with surprising strength and stood between us like a wall. His wife called 911 while I gasped for air, my throat burning. The deacons blocked the door, but Marcus was bigger than both of them. Years of college football evident in his stance. He told them to move or face assault charges, his voice calm but firm. Pastor Michael started quoting scripture about false prophets leading the flock astray, his face turning purple with rage. My father grabbed a baseball